lights off and you're racing. They got a bit of a split between Class B, which is in the front, that you can see currently in shot. There's a little bit of a gap before the Class Ls, and then they'll go.
Whoa. Is that going to be allowed with green flags out and he's reversing on the grid?
Nope, that is definitely a very, very naughty move.
That's
note.
naughty.
And
I don't think I've seen that before. That's green flags out and he's reversing. And there we go. He's like, I'm in the wrong pit box. Yeah.
I've been around Coventry for a while with the slots, and I've never seen that done. But we're going to see how it's all going to work out, because it's going to be charging down through turn 1. Not a problem. The King, not an issue. Turn 2, on the other hand, who's going to be late on the brakes, and you will see these cars going 4 wide
5
into
seconds.
turn 2. So 5-second board. You'll watch the lights come on the bridge. Lights on, bring it up, lights off, and away they go. And a great start for some, a terrible one for others. Nick Hodgkin getting a great start to try and make a little bit of a gap to Andre Duplessis, and De Kock chasing him down. But it does look like David Jeremy getting the run, and now it's going to feel a little bit of pressure put onto the back of him, as we do see that is Mackie Adlam's car that is having a good go.
Right, 3 wide going through Crowthorne. It's expected with these cars, the Lotus Challengers, very nimble. And because you're a little bit higher up, you're very aware of cars around you, unlike some of your GT cars where you're not even sure. You need a camera to tell you. They're very aware, and they can hear the car next to them. They can hear it breathing down their neck. First time then through from Barbecue through the sunset, and this will be full tap. Starting to see the sun go down a little bit now, so these very aware of these drivers. Nothing really protecting them from the air hitting their face quite hard there as they come through this section, and it'll be full taps here for these guys.
Well, David Jeremy getting pressure from JP Nokia as they fight it out for first and second, and JP had a brilliant start to try and back away. Sorry, that's Jeff Gable that's out in first with JP Nokia on the back of him. So JP's trying to open up the gap just a little bit more on the way through, and he's going to really have to go full taps on the way towards Mineshaft. Goes for the defensive. Jeff Gable is very comfortable through Leerkop. He keeps a very tight line. You'll follow it through down the second apex and get going, as we do have a battle for third and fourth place as well. So it's turning into a bit of a train as they make their way down the Mineshaft. It's flat out full taps side by side, and you really got to give it.
Around the outside of Mineshaft, and he's going to look for the inside line. This is a common overtaking point here at Kyalami. And almost sliding out there from the lead there, Jeff Gable. He's going to be compromised a little bit now. Is Ingwe an opportunity to overtake here for David Jeremy?
I'll look for JP Nokia, who's going to go around the outside. He's going to have a beautiful shot here if he can get the undercuts, and Jeff Gable keeps a nice defensive line. David Jeremy lying in third place, trying to move his way up, and unfortunately for JP, he tried going for that inside line. It didn't quite work for him, and now he's going to have to give it a good go. But I mean, first, second, third, and fourth are on top of one another for our Class Bs. Then you go further down to our Class Ls.
Here he comes. Okay, has he got the inside line? It's going to be compromised in the braking, but now he's going to come back at him. Gable. We've seen this move so often happen here at the Kyalami circuit, because he's on the inside line there now. Is he going to push? No, in fact, Gable is going to close off the door there and make sure that he doesn't have a gap there, but it's going to be Clyde racing between, because he brought third and fourth closer in as well now.
Well, that's it. David Jeremy, the defending 2024 champion, now trying to go around the outside of his championship contender, and it does look like very, very close racing, as JP Nokia having to really back out of it. And here comes David Jeremy side by side with Jeff Gable, who is on the charge, and we have got Andre Human all over the back of them, as well as our top four are not giving an inch. And now you asked, how close can the racing be? I think this is how close it can be. Jeff Gable trying to keep the drive. Andre Human looks around the outside as they charge up the crest. It is going to be late on the anchors to try and sweep across the nose, and take a look at JP Nokia trying to hold it up on the inside as well.
Oh, he's going to push him wide. No, they don't touch them. Very gentlemanly through there, but now down the Mineshaft. You want to position your car on the inside
and gently move it to the middle of the circuit.
Yeah, gently, boys, gently.
And well, Jeff Gable knows the move all too well. That's how he lost going back in the early 2000s in the Lotus Challenge. He lost his championship here by the very same move. Andre Human going and losing out. Oh, that's the number 27 Class L. And that is De Kock.
He's got the engine cover from the front on the roof. How did that happen? All right, so that's going to bring us...
I thought it was taken off just to give him a bit of shade.
All right, we're going to get safety car and their confirmation I look out the window here, and safety car board is out. That's a pity because the racing was really hotting up here for us with our front four, but they're going to need to just back it off now, and the safety car is going to be compromised.
Yeah, they literally...
Sure, they're right on top of each other. They're dangerously close to that. Now he's got his arm out. You can see that the safety car is now, you can see the safety car actually coming out the pits has now just missed them, so they're going to go around again and have to take another lap. There we go. Bit of, what's that? That's just a gazebo there, man.
Well, you got the right angle. That's unfortunately one of our low costs that has lost it, and the driver going and walking out. So
taste a cocky, in fact it was. So let's have a little replay of what happened.
So this is through the entrance of the S's, lost the rear under braking, slid round, into the wall, bent the front suspension from that one, and
look at all the liquid pouring out the radiator. Hey, wow. Listen, I reckon if you gave him another 3 times, I'm not sure he'd be able to pull that same move with the engine cover coming out as a gazebo on top. Hey, that was pretty good. All right, so this is going to, unfortunately, and this is the thing about the support races, as much as we love having them here, we can't actually afford to have too much extra time for them. So we are going to stick to the allocated time, and if we're not able to move that car for whatever reason, it'll be the end of the race, unfortunately.
Well, it doesn't weigh much. It's genuine. It weighs about 580 kilograms, so it doesn't weigh much at all.
There we go. Well, he's looking after his gazebo there, putting it at the back of the bucky. And let's see if we can get that car out the track way, because they're going to have to tow that now around to the pits. So we probably could have a 2 or 3 lap dash, which would be great for our first 4.
Now, you would have seen the marshals just checking the water, because there's always a worry about adding coolant. Now, in your road car, you add coolant because it just makes the car run a little bit better when it's a bit warmer in traffic. Here in the world of racing, we're not allowed adding coolant because that makes the track extremely slippery. So it's only just water that you saw pouring out there. Generally, the same water you get from your tap.
Yeah, and of course we can just see the sort of the damp mark here on the track, and that's on the outside of the corner, not on the racing line, so I don't think we should be compromised there. It's really just if the car can keep rolling and they can tow it away, so we will get confirmation of that. But is that a common thing to do? Is it a little bit early on the power there? Did he hit the curb too hard? What do you think has happened there on the entrance to the S's?
So there's 2 parts that can happen. It's either you've braked and your trail braking didn't quite work out, and it causes the rear to rotate too much, and that's what it looked like. He hit the brakes as far and as hard as possible, and as he was coming off, he was busy turning, and it just upset the balance of the car. Now remember, these cars are very light. They've got no weight on the back. They've literally got a fuel tank and a diff. That's it. So that's on the back. So these cars, you can physically get 2 people to lift up the rear of the car, and unfortunately you change that balance. That's the first thing that's going to jump up on you, and unfortunately it goes and swings around and lands up. I think he's damaged the front suspension, and that's where it's going to need a big tow and a drag to get it off the circuit. Oh,
well, the fans will be disappointed if we don't get back to racing here, because Gable, his best time was a 2:04.6, but look at that. Jeremy had 0.5 seconds faster lap, so he looks like he was the man to beat. Certainly the fastest out of the front 4. Human in 4th did a 2:04 flat and a 2:05 then for Norkia, who had sort of dropped back a little bit. Those are the fastest of those 3 times. Just looking back down the field, Faulkner and Finlay pulling in 2:06s, sort of the fastest of the rest, everybody else over the 2:10. So it looks like they're going to be able to push that car, well called there, Stephen Koenig, and they're going to take it not all the way back to the pits, but rather just off the racing circuit behind the barriers. This is a world-class facility, so that's going to be a quick little sort out. We might be able to get back racing sooner than we thought with 5 laps to go.
Well, taking a look, David Jeremy won Class B for 2024. He's at the moment 2nd place behind the person that nearly took away that championship this year, Jeff Gable. We're going to take a look at Class L. Nick Hodgkin won 2024 and had to win it by 5 points over the likes of Graham Hepburn, who is now going and taking his way through. So this is going to be a very interesting run, because the chaps that didn't get to win the championship may be able to get the bragging rights here on a Friday.
Yeah, all right, so we have got 26 cars now out on the circuit. We've lost 1, and looks like we're going to get possibly 4 laps of racing. We're hoping the safety car can come in on this lap. There we go, the car's safely out. In fact, what we can see, there's the marshals are going to want to just quickly get back onto the track just to see and perhaps just sweep a little bit there.
Yeah, get rid of some of the dirt, because that is now becoming very tricky. You've got marbles, you've got dirt, now you've got water. It's an extra little bit to slide, and it's something you've got to be well aware of on the way through. So difficult times, the driver's going to have to just be a little bit more patient, but this is where the marshals are critical to be. And honestly, when we get ready to have the racing, I got a funny feeling Jeff Gable, David Jeremy, Andre Human, JP Nokia are going to be immediately down each other's throats. And don't count out Thomas Faulkner. He wants to get part of the party.
Yeah, just a rare shot. We don't often talk about it, but there's the Leeuwkop Castle in the background. We don't often get to look at it because we've seen the cars come so fast by, but look up at the top there. What a beautiful sight that is. And so often can be seen from other areas around the circuit. In fact, driving around when we go into our accommodation, we can see the Leeuwkop Castle. This is now back down the track. This is one of the views that we really love talking about, which is, of course, looking back from Leeuwkop down towards Kyalami Racing Circuit. And this is such an iconic venue, one of the favorite viewing spots, and you get to see so many corners all the way back down to even Ingwe from the top of the track. So just keep him out the window. It looks like we're going to go
Safety
green.
car lights are off.
Yeah, and I can see just down on the start line we've got marshals getting ready to wave their green flags. It looks like we're going to get 4 laps of racing. So who are you going for here? Gable, Jeremy, Human, Nokia?
I think Stable Gable has got an opportunity. He's got an opportunity. Kyalami has been his circuit every single time he's gotten to it. David Jeremy's going to put up the fight, but Jeff Gable just knows exactly where to position the car.
Look at this.
The two know each other very, very well in the past, and sends it off. David Jeremy caught out sleeping, and JP Nokia not so going and get caught out, with Andre Human trying to accelerate away as our top 4 now start to pull the gap on the rest of the field.
Watch out for Jeremy. He is right behind our leader Gable, and there we go.
A quick cut on by. David Jeremy got the pass, quick. Now it is going to be Jeff Gable inside.
He's protecting the line.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. So David Jeremy had the run, so had to swap around, and Jeff Gable positioned the car just enough to take away any sort of drive that David Jeremy had. But David is immediately keeping that pressure on the back of him, and Jeff Gable is going to have to really work hard, as immediately you can see JP Nokia and Andre Human closing up that gap at a rate of knots, and now looking to take the fight to the sharp end of the field.
There we go, closing up once again. Full taps through Sunset, and they'll be hard braking now, looking for the line of defense or a line of attack, because you've got some tricky corners. We've seen one competitor already caught out coming into this next corner. This is the first of the S's. That car now parked on the inside behind the barriers. And the 4 are line astern going up to the top of Leeuwkop. Is this an opportunity to overtake here? We've seen them take different lines up to the top there. It's, of course, there's plenty of opportunities, not just one. Oh, he just touches the gravel there, pushing really hard. It's 3 next to each other as we go up to the top of Leeuwkop. And we've got maybe a change here for 3rd position.
No, JP tried.
He holds on. He tried.
Human holding on to the gap, but it does look like David Jeremy's starting to get a little bit of a slide, and that is a telling sign of those rear tires are starting to take a little bit of pain. And immediately Andre Human going onto the attack, tries to go for a deep inside line. Jeff Gable, who's actually sporting a bit of damage, and that's from contact with David Jeremy. And take a look, Human trying to capitalize. He dives on the inside, very, very close.
Almost touching.
And now JP Nokia is going to have an opportunity to get on by. So unfortunately for the likes of Jeff Gable, having the blue wheel arch as a reminder of an incident that happened at Red Star during the course of the year, where it landed up affecting multiple races. It changed the points outcome, and that blue is just as a reminder. It seems like the other side is going to have to change as blue after contact here at Kyalami for some great racing. Human looks for the inside, thought about it, but David Jeremy holding that inside line, keeping a very tight line into turn 2. That's compromising his drive quite a bit. Human now trying to get onto the back of him. Nokia has gotten a little bit tired and is actually starting to snap off the train.
Right, we were talking about 204s earlier. Well, the front 4 all running just in the 202s at the moment now. Nokia did a 203, in fact, sorry, 0.1 last time out, but the others running in the 202s, and Gable looks like he's got the car perhaps to take it to the end here with just 3 laps to go. You know, this one's not over.
No, very, very far from it. The Lotus Challenge are famous for those last lap runs and drag races down to the line. Whether you're in Class L, whether you're in Class B, you have a choice here. Looking at Class L, Nick Hodgkin still leading out the pack. He's ahead of Graham Hepburn now, and looking to try drive away as we get back to our overall, and this is the top of the Class B, as We have got David trying to get the run up towards Leocorp. Over the crest he goes. He needs to try and swing it across the nose. Not able to do it.
He does. There he goes. Takes a dive on the inside. He's a compromise, but no, he loses a bit of speed there. And it looks like Jeremy's just going to have enough to perhaps keep the inside line going down to the Crocodiles.
Well, he's going to have to really get a little bit of drive. Andre Human now onto his tail. So David Jeremy running in second place. Andre Human in third. Keeps looking for that inside line. He knows that David Jeremy is not as confident as they bounce their way over the curbs, but it is starting to show a little bit of damage on the likes of Jeff Gable. May make it a little bit more unstable. He goes out a little bit wide. That's compromised drive. Here comes Jeremy. He's going to get late onto the anchors. Looks for the undercut, but Human also trying to put his nose in at the same time.
Right, it's going to go down to 2 laps to go, and this is where Jeremy's really preferred taking the inside line down the main straight past the kink, but he seems to have lost a bit of drive there. In fact, it looks like Human's gone up into second position as they came past us. And it is.
Well, Human's got it. He's now going to have a look towards the inside line, second guess the option. David Jeremy, though, not wanting to be caught out. And take a look at the lines into turn 2 that Jeff Gable's using. Far right-hand side and swings the nose across, tries to straight line it as much as possible. But now you've got Andre Human really forcing David Jeremy out a bit wide. He says, you've won the championship, buddy. Give us the opportunity to win the pride here as they chase each other down. But don't count out JP Nokia. He's still sitting on the coattails at the moment. One mistake, and you'll see that car now into a little bit more of a threat position.
Yeah, gap of 1.4 seconds, and then fifth Faulkner 5 seconds further back, and then it's the first of the L-Class cars coming through with just 2 laps to go. And it looks like Jeremy, who had perhaps maybe just small mistake or something down the main straight, seemed to lose a bit of drive, but he's back up to speed now, right on the tail of Gable. And stable Gable not going to allow him any space there as we head up to Leeuwkop for the penultimate time.
It's going to be a close one. Human going to go around the outside, and Jeff going to try and hold the inside line. It's late braking, and it does look like David Jeremy's also getting a bit feisty, and Gable still holds that inside line. Very, very confident on the brakes into Leeuwkop. He knows the corner all too well, but now down the mount shaft is going to be a problem because Human's going to have the opportunity to run into that slipstream, pull himself a little bit closer in towards the Crocodiles, and you can see Jeff Gable taking a very tight line this time round. He knows what Human's going to do compared to the likes of David Jeremy, where he's stuck far left. Well, he's a little bit worried about Human, who's going to keep gnawing away at that very tight inside line.
He's going to want to stay quite close there because perhaps his best opportunity is going to be down into Crowthorne for the overtake. That sort of scene where he's done it before, so seems a little bit further back now, but yet they go for the last lap in the Lotus Challenge, a race number 1 here at the 9-hour weekend. And he seems to once again down that main straight just be losing a bit of pace, and Human perhaps could be challenging for second.
It's going to be a different one. David Jeremy, like, way off the pace at the moment, so something's definitely not happy with the gearing on that car. And Human now getting a little bit of spacing, taking a little bit too much curb onto turn 2, unsettled the car ever so slightly, lost the drive. And you can see how Jeff Gable capitalized on that immediately, trying to open the gap. 0.5, going on nearly 0.8 of a second, separating himself from second place. David Jeremy moving out a little bit wide yet again. And
I think he's slowing down there, because I think there goes Nokia into third place. So is he going to try and... He is really slowed down. Is he going to nurture this around for a finish, or is that game over for a man who was challenging for the lead not too long ago? Wow, how quickly things can change.
I think he's going to try and nurse that car around as a champion. He wants to see the checkered flag, but JP Nokia is going to be smiling ear to ear. He's been clawing away all season long to get a running podium, to go and land up on the podium eventually. And what a way to get here. Kyalami, Thomas Faulkner is going to make short work. I've got a funny feeling that David Jeremy's engine got hurt down the main straight.
Yeah, it did seem like he lost drive or power of some sort, so he's going to nurse it up. But
they've got no rev protection.
Yeah, well, look, we're seeing now what's happening with our front 3, because Gable just had 0.5 seconds ahead of Human, and then Jeremy in third. So look there, that looks a lot more comfortable for our front 3. So it looks like that's going to be straightforward now. Stable Gable is going to do it once again. Hodgson looks like comfortable as well to pick up the L-Class victory.
Absolutely well fought nonetheless. Jeff Gable has done it all, and you can't take anything away from Andre Human and the likes of JP Nokia. They've done a fantastic job clawing away at it, And Jeff Gable's going to see the checkered flag here at Kyalami again.
Well done.
It's been a few, and now he gets to see it. Andre Human comes on by, and the likes of JP Nokia. And you've got Thomas Faulkner, who's going to be moving up into 4th place. He's going to be smiling with that one, but the drivers are all going and putting on a fantastic show. Oh, no.
Is that in the same place that we had a
Yes,
that
is
is
exactly
the start of the S?
You can actually see where the water was. He's just moved slightly up.
So that means he probably lost it then coming out of the first part of the S's as well.
That is Ronnie Remp, the number 8 Class B car, the Lotus Birkin, and unfortunately on the last lap with a broken suspension, the tire was tired and it's now lying on its side.
Yeah, we'll see if we can catch that. But of course, well done to Jeff Gable picking up the victory then ahead of Human. And it's Nokia who's going to finish off the podium, while in Class L, Hodgson promoted up to 5th after his good finish. And we're still waiting to see if, in fact, no, we haven't seen Jeremy come through just yet. So we've got him down in 7th, has been lapped, but there we go. It looks like a hard hit on the front left. A little replay here for you of what happened here. Did he lose it in the first part of the S's?
So brakes, pivots, and that's it. It's brake. That is under braking. They pivoted and smashed the front suspension and parked it literally exactly where
Same
the next
spot.
one. Moving the steering to try and see if it will turn. I think the left-hand side is not going to agree with you at that point, but good 10 points for effort to try and do that.
So yeah, it was, in fact, we can just see in the corner some of the water that had come out from the radiator earlier. So a similar incident, but he lost it on the inside, so perhaps just touching a bit of grass or a bit of slippery perhaps in there, or just too much power coming into that corner. We'll have a chat to the guys afterwards, but he's safe, everything's fine. And these cars, as soon as you hit the wall, made to collapse just like that. And fairly safely done, if you can say so, in a crash.
Well, that's the thing. It's meant to fall apart if you get into a nasty accident. It's still a bit expensive when you get into a nasty accident. But I can tell you that the Lotus Challenge will assist to try and get that car up and going by tomorrow. They will frantically, everyone will look for wishbones and try and get them out. And this is the one thing about the Lotus Challenge. It's all about being a very family orientated, and a lot of the cars that we've seen go out, the Lotus Elise and Lotus Exige, that will be going out in the Sports GT, they originally were racing with the Lotus Challenge at one point. They've still got rules from early 2000s for the Lotus Elise and Lotus Exige. That's been there since the early 2002 for those cars. So it's great stuff, but well done to Jeff Gable. He's going to be happy with that. He said all weekend he wants to go and score the win here at Kyalami and relive the moments where he was on top of the world, one of the fastest drivers here at the Lotus Challenge B class.
So I've got to ask you, you've raced here a lot, you've done different cars, you've commentated on many. Which one would you prefer to drive, the Lotus or one of our single-seater Super Vs that we saw a little bit earlier on? Because there's something similar about them. This feels a little bit more like go-kartish and fun. The other feels like a bit more serious racing, maybe.
Okay, I've got to ask, how long is the race?
Right.
We're at this point. You know, single-seater racing is fantastic. I love it, and I've done it before, but I've never driven a Birkin at Kyalami ever, and that's one thing I would like to do. It would be that ultimate little bit of fun, and also with the Lotus Challenge. But also, I'd love to get a little Birkin to be able to put some lights on. And here's the thing, put some lights on, get it all geared up, and race in 9 hours of Kyalami. Because it has done before. So that's going to be that. But let's take a look at our class running provisional results. Class B, Jeff Gable running in first place, Andre Human in second, JP Nokia in third place, followed by Thomas Faulkner. And then we got Jamie Oliver and Lotus running in 6th. David Jeremy down in 7th with Reep, who we saw unfortunately going and retiring in the worst way possible, the wall going in, deciding no more. Grant Findeli and Clive Walmart unfortunately not able to get himself going. For our Class Ls, we got Nick Hodgson taking the win, Graham Hepburn, followed by Jean Dutoy and Andre Duplessis in 4th, followed by Dunford, David Favio in 6th, Ben Knights in 7th, and then De Silva in 8th, Marez 9th, and Tiven, who had a really good time out there, landed up spinning in qualifying. Well, he got 10th place on the running order, followed by Maxwell. So great racing for our cars, and now we are going to be looking towards our next support race that will be having a bit of fun. And now we're going to something a little bit heavier, but a little bit more powerful.
Right, I'm going to step aside for a moment. We've got a man who loves these cars. He knows them well. He races them himself. Ernest Page stepping back here to chat with Steve as we look forward to the first race of the weekend for the sports and GT class.
Going to be an incredible one, and standing on the edges of your seat of note, I've got to say, Lotus Challenge, never one to back down, so we'll see how the racing goes on. But I know one person who was definitely going and putting his hands together and rubbing with the close racing. Ernest, this is not the first time you've seen Lotus Challenge, but this is definitely the first time you've seen it in a long time, going and taking the battle out.
I gotta say, I wanted to make sure that I'm still busy studying up on some of the Lotus names and who's who. So I thought, you know, the professionals are clearly handling it here, but I kind of wish I was commentating on that race, man. That was a good one. That was a good one. That was one of the most exciting races we've seen so far this weekend. And as much as, and I was involved in a crash myself recently of my own doing, so as much as motorsport is not about accidents, it's about racing, sometimes people like to see close, tight racing, and people want to see people pushing the limits. Obviously, no one should get hurt. But crashing is part of motorsport, and it does make it more exciting. And unfortunately for those two drivers that had these big offs, we don't want that. But yeah, as I said, as someone that's busy with the series in Cape Town, the Formula SC, as we call it now, used to be Formula Supercar, we're trying to grow that series. And I told the guys in the meeting the other day, if me crashing out in the last race of the year after winning the championship means that more people are watching, then then so be it. So I sympathize with the two drivers. But thank you for providing entertainment, and I'm sure they'll be back stronger, and I'm sure they'll be back faster.
No question that they're going to get a little bit of help from the entire club to get it all up and going. But what's the chances of landing in the exact same spot?
No, it's crazy.
And just re-looking at it, it's under braking. They're literally dipping the nose down, all the way shifting to the front. Yeah. It lifting off the rear, and it's just having that snap oversteer that comes to it.
There's a lot of suspension travel on these cars, and I'd love to see a replay because I actually missed this incident. So if we can get a replay on that, would be amazing. But there's a lot of front suspension travel on these cars. I spent a lot of time with Birkins a couple of years ago. And what would happen was you see the travel on the front suspension, the car sort of dips down. And like you say, there's a lot of weight on the back axle because you're sitting over that back axle. But if that weight does shift off and you do make it go light, then this happens. We'll see the replay now. And thanks to our awesome production team over there. I mean, this is some fantastic visuals, and the visuals continue. Just look at that. Oh, it happened early. It happened very early on in the corner.
That's under braking. Oh, that is definitely under braking.
Oh, but just look at how well, number one, the tire wall did its job, and number two, these cars are quite modular in the sense that steering's not working anymore. These cars are quite modular in the sense that you can replace the necessary arms, and then off you go. And as long as the chassis is not torn or damaged, he might even be back for the next race, So let's see.
I can almost guarantee that car is going to be back, because the one thing about the Lotus Challenge that I've learned over the years is if you got a problem, you say, hey guys, I've got an issue, or they see that something's gone on, there is a multitude of spares that guys go and dip into to try and pull things apart and get things going. It's even chaps that have got a broken car, say the engine explodes. Okay, you don't have a spare motor, hang on, someone's wishbones are broken. Oh, let me take my ones off, since I'm not going to use them, put them on your car, at least get one of them out. You will see at least one of the cars that landed up in the wall back out on the track.
Amazing.
And that's just the nature of the Lotus Challenge. That's why it's been around for so many years, but also have been quite rigorous on their rules to ensure that they keep it safe, fun, fair, and competitive all through the years of motorsport.
Yeah, when I first wanted to get into motorsport, Formula Low Cost was one of the things that I was looking into. And at the time, 4AGE engine, for example, 16-valve Toyota engine was a great option in what is still an affordable series, and they've managed to keep it so affordable that the numbers look the way they do. The tires are relatively cost-effective. The chassis, once you have them, you know, there's not much else to do. It's quite a light car, so a lot less strain on all the moving components and parts. So it really is one of those fantastic series where you can enjoy the car, you drive on the limit. It's a proper car. It feels like you're driving a proper car. It's not a stripped up production car, so to speak. So yeah, I'm very stoked to watch the racing, and I enjoyed watching it from next to the commentary booth. If they cut the cameras to you guys, they would have seen my head sticking out the side as I tried to catch a glance of your monitor over here. But it does look like that number 8 car is back on the tow vehicle, which means that we should be going racing soon as we stay outside our pit window here. David Joubert's car is out on the tarmac over there. Craig Jarvis as well. Sun Moodley also in the mix there. JP Mauro, I think, might be out there in the Sun Moodley car. Nope, it looks like both Sun Moodley and JP might be out there. Let's see. But we wait for the classifications as they cross the line after this, and then we'll get all that information as the system processes who's out there to do the sports and GT race.
Now, it's going to be a great one, but talking about the sports and GT, since it's all about being at the coast, it's only fair, since you've got 2 points to our northern side having 0. For now, I'm going to hand over to a person from the coast that is pretty familiar with these cars coming in racing at Eldo Scrivanti. We're going to hand over to Mr. Motormouth himself to go and give a bit of an insight. I'm looking forward to this because now I get to watch the racing.
Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do. And the only car that gets to drive the wrong way around on the circuit, the rest of us will get fined, is the AA truck over there, making sure that everybody gets back to where they're supposed to be safely. And, through that little access gap over there. And back to the action we will go shortly. The Kyalami facilities are just so fast. And yeah, it is just so easy to get things done over here. So we got somebody on the YouTube feed saying, I want to see Stuart White in the new Huracan. Yeah, we will see Stuart White in a Lamborghini later on. And Stuart White is just one of those drivers that has performed so well. And Senor Motormouth, that's what they call you. They should call, we all Motormouths here, aren't we?